This is From the Petty Corner. I'm Petty Diana, and I have the #1 UFC Flyweight Brandon Raw Dog Royval here with me. Welcome to the Petty Corner, Brandon.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you here because you're a petty one. Like, you like to talk shit and, be a little petty here and there. So it's
No, I always get my get back for sure. So,
y-
hey, if you guys think you're one up on me, I'm coming back for sure.
I love it. Okay, so you love talking shit, right? I need to know, what's your most petty moment, like leading up to a fight or after a fight?
I don't know, honestly. I feel like I can't even think of it. Leading up to a fight or after a fight. I can't think of anything specifically. Um, I don't know. I've definitely talked shit a lot in people's ears during fights. I've said some shit, but as far as like being petty after a fight or before a fight, I can't think of anything too specific. Besides just like giving someone like a little extra crank on their arm or something like that. But like nothing like too specific. I don't try to be like a sore winner or anything, you know. Sore loser I'll be every time. I'm still not over half my losses. So, but as far as like winning goes and just being petty, like leading up to the fight, I mean, I can't really think of anything too specific. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, well, we'll definitely have to work on that then, because like the pettiness and the shit talking, I feel like it creates so much hype for the fans, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Especially like like the people, like most people aren't like into like the aren't doing martial arts. They're just fans of the sport, so you get more connected emotionally than anything, you know. So when you bring that emotions out, it's always a good thing. Maybe the most petty moment I've had after a fight is the moment I beat Brandon Moreno, or like the moment the fight ended. I was walking around and the camera's on me, and then I don't even remember doing this shit too, by the way. But the camera zoomed in on me, and like he walked up to me, and as soon as he did it, I was like, "Albazi, you're a bitch," and then I just walked away. I don't even know where that came from, really.
You're probably just like on a high from the win that you didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah, and like I said, I be talking shit left and right. So really, most of the flyweight division I've exchanged a little bit with, you know.
Yeah.
Which is why I'll never move to Vegas because motherfuckers hate me out there.
And well, and training in Colorado too, like it probably helps your cardio and endurance because the elevation. So when you go to other places, it makes it a lot easier for you.
Yeah, and like I was born and raised here too, so it's like everything I know is like Denver and like Colorado, you know.
Yeah, go Broncos. Even though I'm
So,
mad at them right now, but go ahead.
yeah, for sure. I don't know shit about the Broncos, but like, hey, if I'm gonna watch football and root for a team, I'll root for the Broncos over everything. Like, I grew up like being a huge John Elway fan and stuff like that, but as far as like knowing football, I don't know shit about it.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I never played real sports.
well, MMA is a real sport, so
Yeah,
it's not a
whatever.
team
Like
sport,
nothing
it's
was
a solo
small or
sport.
anything.
But I guess it's kind of like a
Yeah,
team
exactly.
to like get there. But
Yeah.
so your opponent is Tatsuro Taira, and he recently said in an interview that in the UFC there is no clear flyweight contender, and he wants to be that going into this fight. I just want to get your thoughts on what he said about that, because you are ranked #1, so to me that is a contender. And if you have anything to say to him about that.
Dang, you be trying to stir the
Yeah,
pot.
Patty be cooking.
Messy. Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like that's my job anyways. Is just like I feel like the UFC's in a weird position, and I knew the moment I beat Brandon Moreno, I was gonna put him in a weird position of like not knowing who to throw in there next. But my job is to go in there and just be undeniable. You know, I go shut him down, put him away. I bet I could put him away quick, and if that all happens, then I'm sure that I'll be up there or up next for a flyweight shot, or like at least in the talking. And if not, bro, I'll just beat the shit out of everybody until I get to Pantoja or whoever has the belt. You know,
Yeah, I love it.
this has always been kind of like my idea. And then in my head too is just like I'll just keep beating everybody until I can fight Pantoja or fight whoever has the belt over and over again. You know,
Yeah.
and if that don't work, I'm gonna fucking spin the block. Yeah, I think as of right now, besides like if I beat Tatsuro, I have a win over everybody in the top 5 of the division. So it's like I really don't know what else they could say at a certain point. You know?
Yeah. There's only like so much down you can fight before you can fight back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I have to take this here. I know you saw the clip that I made when I interviewed Yusuf on his
Yeah.
birthday. But he says that you are
Motherfucker.
he says that you are his girlfriend Brenda, but you say you're daddy. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity to set the record straight.
No, I don't even need to set the record straight. Everybody who knows who Daddy is. Who's walking around. That's what the D on the hat stands for. Daddy. Yusuf Salal's daddy. Yeah, you guys didn't know I'm part Moroccan, you know. And then yeah, so my son's out here making me proud. He's doing great in the UFC, and my son will get a belt really soon, and I can't wait to see it. You know, like father, like son. I'm gonna go get that belt in the next couple months, and then Yusuf Zalal will be making Papa proud. Right under my arms, I'll coddle him. I'll coddle him and his belt together.
Okay, I'm gonna stir the pot just a little more. So he
Hey, this is Yusuf's little brother Oso right
Aw,
now.
he's so cute though. I was gonna ask
Yeah, hey,
him.
one big happy family, really. I'm proud of both of them, honestly. Oso's a little more well behaved than Yusuf, but
Hey, doodles are smart, so
yeah, exactly. And he's probably a little smarter and way quieter, really.
yeah. I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit more. So those gloves right there, Yusuf sent me those. Yeah, so Yusuf sent me them and he put number one MMA fighter on the show. But you're the number one flyweight,
I'm just,
so I don't know how we're gonna
I'm
settle
just,
that.
I mean, I guess numbers don't lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's already been settled. Dang,
I love it.
homie should have never tagged me in that post.
Hey, that was me.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So
so
now you gotta scratch that out for me actually, and just put Raw Dog was here.
okay, so I primarily interview Power Slap strikers, and Power Slap is like a sister company, brother company, whatever you want.
Why?
Cause I love those guys and the woman over there. But anyway,
You love those guys. All right. Well, tell them to love themselves a little bit more and join a fucking different sport.
well, a lot of them do come from like MMA and boxing backgrounds and everything like that. But so it's like a sister brother company to the UFC. If Dana White called you today and said, "Hey, I need you on the next
Fuck no.
card," and the next card's in Abu Dhabi, it's the same weekend as the Max and Ilya card. Um, but if Dana White called you and said, "Hey, I need you on the next Power Slap card," what UFC fighter are you taking to go against?
Oh, my son. I'm about to smack the shit out of you. So, I'm gonna win the. I'm gonna win the heads or tails, and then get my smack in, and then quit if they don't drop me. Like I ain't never getting slapped in the face. Fuck that.
It cut out for a second,
Oh,
like you like it kicked you out of here for some reason. But you said if I ever get slapped and then it cut out.
I'm never getting slapped. That's where I was. That was the end of story. That's why I cut out because it was like I ain't never getting slapped. Boom, cut, cut. Next question.
Hey.
I'll just play.
No, well, I asked Yusuf the same question and he said, my girlfriend Brenda. So he's taking you to the Power Slap stage too.
Did he say that?
Yes.
That motherfucker. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, there's a shit ton of UFC fighters I would smack the fuck out of. But I mean, just because, my son and my family's always at the forefront of being a family guy myself, are always at the forefront of my mind. I feel like he's been stepping out of line a little bit lately, you know?
Hey, maybe you can like show off some skills when you go against Tyra. You can just like, smack him. Is that even legal? Can you
Yeah,
slap
smack the
somebody?
shit out of him. Yeah, you can slap the fuck out of anybody, honestly.
Hey,
I don't know what like the legality of certain things are. I didn't even know you weren't allowed to kiss somebody in the UFC. Not that was like anything I've ever thought of, but like not until last week where I'm like, oh shit, you can't kiss motherfuckers?
that was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, so I'm actually really excited to talk to you about like the work that you've done in the juvenile system. So you used to work at the Denver Dream Center. What did you do there, and how did you get into that?
um Man, I guess I just like I grew up around a lot of people that were fucking up like really bad in life, and um a handful, like the closest people around me, were getting arrested and getting in trouble. So I feel like it was just something that like really kind of spoke to me right off the bat. Is just once I seen the opportunities, like availability and all that stuff, it was just like one of those like it would be really cool to just try to prevent something, or like be on that side of things of like, okay, these are kids that are struggling. These are kids with like bad past or bad, like, made some wrong decisions, and it would be cool to kind of see if I could intervene in a little bit. But it wasn't really until I got into there where you just realize how special some of these people are. Like there's a lot of talent in jail. Like there's a fuck ton of talent, a lot of um, what is it called? Like untapped potential. There's a lot of untapped potential, like in the juvie system and the jail system. And I like some of the this is what I tell them a lot too. Some of the most successful people I've ever met, as far as like business men and like women and like mainly men. I don't I guess I don't know too many like women that went to jail, but like businessmen came out of jail. Like came out of jail, and it's just the same mind state of just like, I'm willing to risk it all to get this, and which kind of like put them in the business world, Like some of those kids were in there for like selling drugs and stuff like that, but some of my friends that like have came out of prison are some of the most successful people I know, and just they have that fucking I'm going for it, like go for broke, and some of that shit will get you locked up, but if you play it smart and play it legal, like you can really just take on the world with it. So it's just it was the best job I've ever had.
Yeah. And speaking of like their stories and everything like that, like you build connections with these kids, and there's some stories that stick with you forever, and then that you can never get out of your head. But do you have one of those stories that you can think of? And you don't have to tell me exactly what the story is, but I'm just curious if there was like any connections there that you still keep in contact with these kids to kind of mentor them still.
Oh, yeah. I keep in contact with a lot of these kids. I keep in contact with a lot of them. A lot of them will reach out and just tell me like stuff that they're struggling on and stuff too. As far as like stories, you want like a funny one or like a sad one, or like is there a specific one you want?
Well, anyone, you don't have to tell me their story, but you can tell me one if you want.
Yeah. So one of the ones that like, I mean, man, I don't know if I should go into like a educational one or just a funny one. All right, but like one of the kids that's like he just got out and I just been talking to him. But he asked, he's like, "Do you remember me?" And I'm like, I would never forget this kid, because one time he took off running, like he was in a gang, and the opposing gang was like, there's a kid from the opposing gang walking across the field. And this is a big ass field, like huge. Like say it's like two soccer fields, or like one big like actual like league soccer field. So this guy's like running across like an NFL football field, pretty much. And he takes off running to go meet the other kid to go fight, but the other kid didn't run to meet, like they were like screaming across the field, and then the one kid ran, and the other kid didn't run at all. And like keep in mind, these kids aren't like known for cardio or anything, so I'm running behind him like, oh shit, I gotta break up a fight. And then finally like he gets towards like the middle, and like half the field just like falls over and just breathing heavy. And like I grab him, and I'm like, like essentially like in situations like that you kind of have to put him in cuffs because they're showing like unsafe behavior and stuff, and like whatever. So like I throw him in cuffs, and like we're walking back, I'm like, dude, what are you thinking? Like, and he goes, bro, I thought it was gonna meet me halfway. He's like, what if you meet me halfway if you see me running? And I was like, no, I'll just wait for you to get tired and beat the shit out of you once you get to me. Like, why would you think he was gonna meet you halfway? But he pretty much ran halfway across the field, and once he got there, just got super tired, and he got really tired and just fell to the ground. Was like, we're walking back, and he's pissed because he's like, what? You didn't think you? Did you think he was gonna meet me halfway? And I was like, no, I didn't think he was gonna meet you halfway. It was the dumbest. It was a dumb idea, and like even if he would have made it all the way down there, like he would have just been so tired to fight. Like it was such a dumb idea.
Yeah, and soccer fields are, I think they're like 4 football fields. Like I feel like
Yeah, and
they're
it's not like
bigger.
he ran the short way across. He ran like all the way across the long way about it. Like it was so dumb. But I have like a million dumb stories like that. One time we were doing like I sat in there during sex education class, which teenage boys in sex education class is crazy anyways. But like juvenile boy, like imagine 15, 20 of the most distracting kids in your class all in the same class together. And then they're teaching sex ed, and like the sex ed teacher was really pretty, but she's like at the end of it, what did she say? What did they say? She's like at the end of it, she's like, you guys got any questions? And they're like, no. And then one of the kids like, no, do you got any questions for me? Like it was just funny. Like that was one of the funny moments too. Just doing sex education class with a bunch of kids that were in juvie was fucking hilarious because they all think they're pimps and they all thought they were the one. So yeah.
They all thought they got Riz.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't work in that field anymore, but you are very active in your community. I believe that you have done like back to school backpack drives, and you are trying to build a center over there. So can you tell me a little bit more about the work that you do over there and what you're doing now?
Yeah. So I just do like mainly everything's just volunteer work. It just like I'll go talk in the schools. I'll be in the project areas and like handing out supplies and stuff. I work with a lot of like different like nonprofits. Every Wednesday um, I go to a place called the Dream Center and just work with some of the kids. Sometimes like hitting mid. Most times it's just playing volleyball and shooting the shit and just catching up on all the little teenage gossip and all that stuff. So it's fun, man. I really enjoy. And then like I got to give all the credit to the juvie too. It's just part of that was just like the moment I got out of working in the juvie and got signed to the UFC, the first thing I was gonna do is work with kids coming out of juvie and working kids like with the GRASS program, which is like a gang. It's like a gang rescue program for like little kids, or at least I was on the kids portion of it. But it was really hard to it was really hard to work with some of them because it's just like they're so entrenched in the gang already and in that gang life that it was a lot of me chasing people down and just like, hey, like, can you come out this day, can you do this, can you do that, where I just felt like it was easier to be on the preventative side and be like get to some of those kids before they get there would be a lot more easier than once they're already wrapped up in there and trying to yank them out, which is like two of the kids that I worked with that were like originally the kids that I worked with when I got out of look at Oso in the background. Two of the kids that I worked with when I got out of the juvie or stopped working at the juvie and got signed. Those two kids, they were really hard to get a hold of like the first 2 years, but those two kids I talked to like religiously, and one of them just finished sixth in state for wrestling. The other one, I think, is probably like a hot prospect to win state this year as a sophomore. Um, and they're just doing good, man. They're doing really good. So, and that was just choices on their own. It wasn't me talking them out of anything or anything, but it's cool to be present in their life and, watch them make some mistakes and now just watching how great they're doing. And, yeah, I feel like that's some of the moments that, like, when they're going to state, I was fighting Brandon Moreno, so I couldn't go to their like fights or anything or go to their matches. But it was like we're all cutting weight together. They're asking me how to cut weight, and I'm like, I'm giving them my advice, and we're just like we're doing this together, And it was just really cool to kind of go into it with them, and it's just cool to see them change their lives around because so they're when I first met them, they were getting in a little bit of trouble, and now they're little role models. One of them was a captain of the wrestling team, and they're just doing great things, and I couldn't be any more proud of them.
I love it. Sounds like they are thriving. But the center that you were trying to build over there, can you give me any more information on that? Do you have like
So right here, I'm across the highway right here, and I should have just did it right in front of there. But the building I'm trying to buy is right over the highway. But yeah, it's just I really want to just kind of have a safe haven, and that's really like the most important thing to me is just like a place where like and I don't know if you do know this, but like a lot of these kids are like the older kids babysitting the younger kid, and they're all raising each other, And it's just like I want a place where it's like I could have kids go be kids every day, something consistent where it's safe. And it's like this area right here is super industrialized, but north, south, west, like this is actually like the center, like right where I'm at. But it's like this way I got a project building, 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 and it's just the center of all of it. And all of it's like a mile and a half away from everything, The furthest um the furthest one being 2 miles away, but it's just right in kind of like the heart of the city, but also it's heart in like the poor community where it's like I would love to just impact that, and it's just like just to provide any relief, If I could provide a healthy meal, most of these kids that I work with are getting food stamps, and then they're on their own. So it's like, what are you gonna do if you get food stamps and you're on your own? I'm gonna go to fucking 7-Eleven and buy Cheetos and soda and all the above, And it's like these kids are operating on a daily basis with like zero nutrition, zero people able to like zero adult supervision, and that's where like you get in trouble. That's where you get pregnant. That's where you get pulled into gangs. That's where you get pulled into doing dumb stuff, stealing from stores, all that stuff. And it's like, for me, when I was younger, anytime I had idle time is when I was doing the worst shit, And it's just like,
Mhm.
I just want to provide a place for someone to be, somewhere that like an older kid can bring their kid, their kid sister and their kid cousins that they're all watching, and just they could go be a kid there too, go work on some homework, go work on whatever. I want tutors there, I want counselors there, and I want all the above. And it's like, if I can provide any relief in the city or any relief to these kids and just make the people around me better, I feel like it'd be a good way to just kind of kill two dreams and kill two birds with one stone. It's just, I could focus on my UFC gym, and then I could bring kids in there, and I can have a big kids program. And then that being said, is I have a good wrestling program where it's like most of these kids that are like the Hispanic kids, they're going to be like 5'8", 5'9", at the tallest. And it's like, you're not going to become a professional football player and a professional like basketball player. I speak into the schools a lot, and every time I talk inside of school, it's like one of the first things I ask is like, hey, what's your dream? And every boy in the schools dreams to be a basketball player or a football player. And it's like, if we're being realistic about like scholarship opportunities, it's like, for a guy that's not going to grow that tall, it's going to be wrestling, And as far as sports go, and it's non-academic, like it's going to be wrestling and stuff like that. So if I could get a wrestling program going, and like possibly provide scholarships for these kids, and just all the above, all the above.
I love that. And I respect you so much for that because you are making a huge impact on the community and these kids' future. But how is something like this funded? Is it funded like solely from you or from sponsors or from the state? Like how do you plan on pulling this off?
I want a lot of it to be through the state and just government grants, but most of it's gonna come from me. I don't really want anybody else to come in and ruin my vision of what I want going on.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of people offer and try to pitch in and chip in on it, but it's just like, I have a vision of what I want there, and I definitely want to bring people in, and I definitely want help. But I don't want someone else's vision and money influencing stuff that I have to do, and I really wouldn't want to ruin what I think I can do, And I think I get a lot of government grants, and this is something that like, this is a hill I don't mind dying on. You know what I'm saying? This is a hill that it's like, if it takes all my money and I go broke one day, I'm never giving a shit. Like, I'm not the most fucking, what is it like? I don't care about material items. I don't care about material
Mhm.
things. I've never really been that kind of person. So it's like, if this is something that I go broke on, I'm okay with it. And I 100% just believe in the vision, and I believe that it's like, and I also just believe in like the people that like the couple people that I am bringing in, is just like the business side of it is going to be the MMA gym. And it's like, I know I can run a great MMA gym. I've been coaching since I was 16. I've been teaching kids since I was a teenager myself, and I've had big classes, and I've done all that stuff. I've been teaching jujitsu, kickboxing, all that stuff since I was a little kid. So it's like, I know I could run a great gym, and I know there'll always be money in that. That being said, is just as far as a kids program goes and everything else I want a big vision for that, and I think I would need government grants, and bringing people in. I know there's health food companies that I've talked to that would love to be a part of it, and um, like bringing in, like, just like I said, once again, just healthy meals, and just little stuff like that would be a great relief to everything. And so far with like the back to school drives, is like most of that stuff comes out of pocket between like the bar that I work with and myself, and but a lot of it is just like some of my fans just donating money, and just donating to the cause. And I had a huge chunk of that. So I don't know. I feel like if I was, the number one ranked in Colorado or in the world, but like, what would I be doing if I wasn't really using my platform for something that I really want to do?
Yeah. I love that so much and I respect that because you are out there changing lives and you're doing something with a purpose. But do you have a time frame of when you want that building to open?
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I was like kind of all over it up until this fight, and within like the last 2 months, I've just been entrenched in the work of like getting ready for a fight. And it's like, I have to go out there and fight, and I have to go win the fight, because if I don't win the fight, then the money is 50% less, and the notoriety goes down and all that stuff. So it's like, at the end of the day, I got to be a fighter first to make any of this happen.
Mhm.
And if I'm just being realistic on all this stuff, so it's like I have the building in mind. I have, enough money to kind of go and fork it up. It's just like I I don't get any of that if I don't do the work to get me this win in the fight. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see you fight and make all of this happen. But the holidays, we are getting to the end of the year. The holidays are coming up. Do you have any like fundraisers or thing planned around that? Because I know you do like the back to school drive, and I know like Thanksgiving and Christmas is like a really big time for fundraisers and charities and things like that. But do you have anything planned for that for the
Yeah,
youth?
I mean, only for this is just like sponsoring families. I'm very fortunate myself. Is like if there's anything I need, I get it, and I don't ever really need much. So and then same thing with my family. My family's doing really good in the sense of like my niece doesn't need anything, my parents don't need anything. So it just kind of comes down to just like, okay, well, the dude does need stuff. I would be grateful for it. And it's just like the last couple of years we've been sponsoring families, and I just feel like once I get the center going too, and with the kids that I work with, I can get like my own sponsorships and stuff going of like bringing in people in and trying to get like family sponsored. But as of now, I'm just going through and just reaching through foundations and doing all that kind of stuff. But that's actually one of my new favorite things. Like a new tradition I do is just like my family's pretty doing pretty well. My niece still like obviously gets like Christmas celebrated, but as far as like between my like main core family and myself is just we go sponsor families in Denver and stuff, and it's been cool the last few years, and super rewarding and all that stuff too.
I love it. And I saw your stories the other day with your niece. That was so adorable. You were letting her like paint your nails and put
Yeah,
like like girls put that the bandana on that you had on for like when they're washing
yeah,
their face or doing their makeup or whatever. That was adorable.
yeah. It's me and her all the time, so it's cool. It's cool. She definitely brings out like my softer side. So uh,
Mhm.
then she was like trying to go live, and she's like, "Well, you gotta post this. You gotta post it." I'm like, "All right, I'll post it." She thinks I'm like famous or something, so she's always just like, "Well, then they're gonna know me, and then I'll be famous and all this." Because she was getting like recognized at the UFC, like the when I fought for the belt, because she was in like part of the embeddeds and stuff. So she was getting recognized, and she was just telling people, she's like, "Yeah, I'm famous now."
I love it. Kids are so cute.
Yeah.
They're so innocent. But yeah, speaking of the UC, you are headlining October 12th, and it's going to be actually one of the last events at the Apex before they close for a very long time for their renovations and everything like that. Some people don't like to fight in the Apex. Do you have like any issues with it? Do you like it? Do you hate it,
No,
or you don't care?
I can't stand. I hate Vegas. I hate Vegas as a whole, but I also just hate like the UFC Apex Center. I like fighting in front of people. I feel like I'm an exciting fighter. I always just kind of thrive off of people, and it's like I've never when I was coming up, I was never just like, what I want to do is fight in a main event UFC fight with nobody there. Like I've never thought that in my goddamn life. Is like part of the thrill is walking outside, like getting booed, getting cheered, whatever it is, but just you know, uh, enjoying the moment and enjoying all that comes with being a professional fighter. And it's like, yeah, there's never been one moment I dreamed of that I was gonna walk out with 70 people. I don't even know how many people that UFC Apex fits, but like maybe like 100 people tops. Like I never really thought of like that being the dream at all. So it's just like it's cool. Like it's cool to be a main event, but that being said, is like fuck the Apex. I want to fight in front of people for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and the Octagon's smaller in there.
Yeah,
Does that?
exactly. It's just all the above like that.
I actually I've never been to an Apex event. I really want to, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
Um, so you and Tyra have actually trained together before. And some people don't like to fight people that they have trained with before. How do you feel going into this fight, fighting under those circumstances?
I mean, it turns into like it is what it is. Like I'm happy that he's even getting this. Like I'm not saying that he's even getting it because he obviously deserved it, but I'm just like, if I was to say no to fight Tyra, it would be like in my opinion disrespectful because like I got the number one spot. I remember like I would have fought anybody to be in the number one spot. And it's like if he beats me, he gets a title shot. So it's like it would be more disrespectful for me to say no to the fight, in my opinion, to him, like as someone that you trained with, and you know, it is awkward. It's awkward because I'm not like I bounce around. I'm at a bunch of gyms right now, so I'm training with like half of Colorado, and then he trains in Colorado for like the last month of his camp. So he's in Colorado right now. So it's like people are like, "Oh yeah, I trained with both you guys," and I'm like, it's just awkward, and it's a little different, and like in my opinion, like I don't necessarily care because it's like I'll speak my game plan out loud. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't really care. It's just like uh, but that being said, it's just like I've never been in a situation where someone's like, "Oh yeah, oh you're fighting Tyra. Oh I trained with them yesterday, and then you're training with them today," and it's just like awkward in that sense.
Yeah. And you are the veteran going into this fight. Do you feel more pressure being a veteran than, being like a rookie or a
No,
contender?
I think I'm the underdog in this fight too. So it's just, I don't give a fuck about anything really. Like at the end of the day, I'm still the same old fucking little kid walking to a park to go fight, and I just thoroughly believe that. Like I've been fighting the top 5, top 10 in the UFC since I got signed, and then I've been fighting top 5 probably the last like I don't know, maybe 2 years, and then pretty much in contender fights or like something of that sort, and like super important. And it's just like at this point, it's like I live in these moments. This is who I am, and this is who I'll ever like. I'll always be for the rest of my career. So it's like I'll always be in these top positions. I'll always be fighting the top fighters, and it's just a fucking fight to me. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's like pressure is what you make it, and like I said, at the end of the day, it's just gonna be me and him in there, and it's like. I've been doing the same shit since I was in middle school, fighting motherfuckers at the park, and it's like I'll never read too much into it.
Yeah. This is the last fight on your UFC contract, and I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this or if you want to talk about it, but have you been in contact with UFC about, what happens next after this fight and, contract negotiations from going forward?
No, but I'm gonna try to get some more money. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, you are always an exciting fighter and one to watch for. So, I'm sure you guys are going to make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with it too, and I feel like no matter what, I'm gonna get more money out of it. So that's always a good thing. That being said, is I'm gonna go make a statement in this fight and be undeniable for that.
Yeah. And then your only losses actually are to Brandon Moreno and Pantoja.
Yeah,
And,
so I don't count
you
that Brandon Moreno loss. My only losses in the UFC is to Pantoja. The loss against
okay.
Brandon Moreno is absolute horseshit.
But then so you had the championship match with Pantoja in December, right?
Yeah.
And you lost that, and then you came back 2 months later and you won against Brandon Moreno. So it's kind of like you got your lick back there. But can you kind of walk me through some of the mental struggles that you deal with? Like you had like the championship matchup and the mental battle that you go through to bring yourself back, But and it was such a short turnaround that it's actually really impressive because, some guys when those kind of losses will take even more time off. So
Oh, I was moping. I was moping really bad. I wasn't even training until they offered me the Brandon Moreno fight. I was really just like down in the dumps fucking every day. Like I was really bad off. That was probably one of the worst like the like I take losses hard no matter what, but that was the hardest I've probably ever taken anything. It's just as far as like my daily wake up, like I wasn't doing anything. I was like thoroughly depressed, and I've never actually like been that down bad. Like when they offered me the Brandon Moreno fight, I was like sitting at home, fucking on the couch, and I was just like fucking, not in a good space at all, not in a good headspace at all. And the moment they offered me that Brandon Moreno fight, it was like the first thing. It was like, fuck yeah, I'll take it. And it was just something to wake me up every day and get me out of bed in the morning. And I literally had like a month to train for that, and I was not training a second before then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I pretty much went from being fat to just going straight into diet and going straight into like camp mode, kill mode, and all the above. And I was trying to organize a camp there because I knew I was going to leave Factory X at that point. But I also was just like, I don't know if I should do my camp in Mexico City or like because Mexico City is higher than Denver in elevation, so it's like I didn't know if I should be doing all that or where I should be going. So yeah, it was kind of a wild little ride to be honest, and it was cool though. Like it was something that I was just like, you know what, like it's a big opportunity. This is like moments you dream of. I'm fighting in enemy territory. I'm fighting for the number one contender spot, and it's like if I could go beat this guy, maybe I can just go jump right back into a title picture, or at least I'll be in the discussion. And it's like anytime they bring up the title picture, they have to say my name too. So uh, it was a good move for me, and it was definitely scary. But the moment they offered me that fight, I had zero hesitation. I was like, "Fuck yeah, put me in there." And yeah, like I said, my fat ass was laying on the couch, straight into camp mode. I got 4 weeks of training, and was able to just pull it off.
I love it. It was a good fight to watch too.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it
Um,
was good.
yeah, and then so can we expect "Shimmy Shimmy Ya" by Old Dirty Bastard for your next walkout? Or
Yeah, I'll walk out to that no matter what. Like maybe I'll add a song before it if I can get a good little edit. But no matter what, I'll always walk out to Shimmy Shimmy Off.
I love it. What are your final thoughts going into that fight?
Yeah, with Tatsuro.
Yes.
I mean, I just want to show the world that there's levels to this. There's levels to this. I've been here. I've been in the top 5. I've been in the top 10. I've been here, done that. I fought every single person up almost in the top 5. You know, it's to the point where it's like, all right, then they get rid of a person in the top 5, and then I fight the new top 5 person. So it's just like, at this point, it's like this is what I do. I'm meant for these big fights. I'm meant for 5 rounds. I'm meant to fight in these number 1 contender spots, and hopefully for a belt next. And I just want to show that this is the level that I'm at, and all you guys need to step your game up.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to see you get the win and then come back and fight Pantoja for a trilogy
Yeah, yeah,
and finally get the belt.
yeah, yeah. And then if I lose that, then I'm gonna have to beat the fuck out of everybody and do it all over. No, I'm just like,
Do you have anything new and exciting coming up that you want to share with the fans? Obviously, outside of your fight in the teen center that you're building.
no, not really. No, just Oso's a little more well behaved, but other than that, no, nothing.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you. So, like, you've never wanted a dog, but somehow you ended up with a cute little Oso.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't even know. Just yeah.
You just couldn't resist it once you
No, no.
saw him.
Oso just ended up on my doorstep. I was dating a girl, and she wanted a dog, and we got a dog, and me and him just been bonding ever since.
I love it. Do you have any sponsors or anything that you want to shout out?
Yeah, EAP Glass always, man. They've been with me since my first UFC fight, and yeah, they've been great. So I don't know what I did to deserve them, but yeah,
Yeah, shout out to them.
yeah.
Well, Brandon, actually, I wanted to let you know because I have I know you can see behind me, like I got like autographs and just like we're collectors over here. Like I literally have like over 1,000 UFC cards, right? Um, out of all the cards that I have, you're probably not gonna believe this, but I can literally only find 2 of you. You're
Oh,
like a fucking unicorn.
hey, that's what I heard. What about
You're so hard to find. Literally, I was so shocked. I was like, this cannot be real. My little doodle just broke in the door too. So um but yes, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time because I know it's very valuable. You're in camp right now training. You got a little puppy you got to take care of, and you got other things that you have to do, but I cannot wait to see the outcome of your fight, and I can't wait to see what comes next for you in terms of like your youth center and everything.
Thank you.
But yeah.
I appreciate you. Thanks for your time.
Of course. And for those of you guys tuning in at home, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good shit. See you next Tuesday, and stay petty, bitches.